Lost so many men. I don't even know how I got this sweater out here. Whew. Shit. I'm missing circleofdebate.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the episode 5 of the Circle of Debate podcast. This is your host, Ivan C., the devious one, alongside my other two co-hosts here with the American hero of all heroes, Mr. Mike Lopez, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, number 5. Here we go.
That's right, and we also have the killer of all killers that kills your reputation. That is Mr. Reputation Killer, Mr. Josh Fred Gordon.
We made it. We made it to number 5. 5 times. 5 times. 5 times. 5 times. Motherfucker. Got it.
That's right. Woo. 5 times. 5 times. Numero 5. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the episode 5 of Circle of Debate podcast. Now, a lot of things has been going on in the wrestling world besides what's going on, obviously, nationwide in regards to, with the protests and obviously with police brutality. I hope you guys saw what we were discussing on this past Saturday in reference for that. Still a lot of things that we try to we're coping with. Very difficult to talk about, but that'll be another time. We're hoping that justice will be served and things can go back to normal finally. I'm hoping so. But moving on now with pro wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and move on. Obviously, you guys saw SmackDown obviously this past Friday. We saw the segment of Jeff Hardy that had been talking about all over social media during that time about the drunk incident, how the cop hit Elias, smelled alcohol, and obviously the cop, what made me laugh was, is this Jeff Hardy? Jeff Hardy. Like, wait a minute, do you know Jeff Hardy's, how do you know it's Jeff Hardy? How? Obviously, we know about his personal abuses. He's done, with, doing, pills and alcohol. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you, Mr. Miracle Hero, you think doing this segment was a good move or a bad move, especially what's going on right now with, with this, police brutality and all this, especially with authorities involved in that? Do you think it was a good move or a bad move on their part?
I mean, I don't think it had to do anything with police brutality. That would have been an entirely different kind of segment, the police beating up Jeff Hardy. I think that Jeff Hardy is kind of unfortunately stuck with this whole thing of substance abuse and all sorts of different things. But if you're gonna, when Matt Hardy left, Jeff stayed on his own. I would want to see Jeff do something different. We've already seen this sort of thing. They've discussed this, whether in storyline or in real life in WWE. I want something different from him. I want to see more serious storylines. So, to me, the only real downside about this segment was kind of how cringy it was. How are the police going to, just arrest him and then a couple of hours let him go right off the bat and send him right back to SmackDown? I don't know. For me, it's no, it doesn't work.
All right, Mr. Killer, what are your thoughts about that segment?
Man, whoever run over Elias, I just hope they done it for The Rock. You know what I'm saying? I hope they done it for The Rock. Shout out to, but yeah, Mike. What Mike was saying, like, we're tired of this shit, man. Didn't Jeff Hardy do this kind of fucking storyline with Samoa Joe not long ago, a couple years ago, whatever it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, and here we are again, man. Here we are again. Jeff Hardy, man, you damn alcoholic. I don't think he's ever going to learn, man. I don't think he's ever going to learn. But also, man, yeah. As a lot of us was doing, we was watching the riots on TV, and then we tuned into SmackDown to kind of get away from that. And then here we are watching this shit, and I feel like I'm watching the same thing almost.
Right?
Just the WWE version.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, and also it was bad timing, but I thought it was a good angle, but bad timing. And if you're gonna do it, then at least read the man his rights or something. God.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you on that because I'm assuming that I'm assuming it was taped. Before all this situation happened, obviously with the protest, I believe it started. The protest started last week of Thursday or Friday, I believe so, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm assuming they taped that, and so they just went with it. Which, I mean, I agree. I agree with with both of you guys' comments. It was a bad move. I think they should have stepped away from his real life, situations and do something different. Bring back the Enigma style again, with his theme song, his solo theme song. Get rid of that Hardy theme song because that's it. I mean, Matt Hardy's gone. Let Jeff Hardy be how he was before. But, we'll see how the outcome goes later with the storyline. Obviously, it's going to be Sheamus with this, but we'll see where it goes.
I'd like to add that, despite everything, his history with drugs and alcohol and all this and that, despite all of that, when I think if somebody gave me like a pop quiz or something about Jeff Hardy, I wouldn't think about drugs or alcohol. I would think about his wrestling career. That's the first thing that comes into mind. So it's a shame that they have to, or feel that they have to keep going to that. So I don't know. To me, I see so much potential in Jeff Hardy, and it's going to waste, I feel.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. We'll see what happens. See, there he is, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy with no makeup. That's Jeff Hardy. Moving on, we'll go ahead with SmackDown. We had with that storyline that happened. Obviously, it caused to have a battle royal who will face Daniel Bryan, and then it turned out to be Sheamus. Daniel Bryan won, and now he's facing AJ Styles. I think we've seen this already a couple of times, especially their feud for the WWE Championship prior before. Are you guys kind of excited once again? Now they're fighting for the Intercontinental. Do you guys feel like they're going to put that title to a prestige for that? Coming up backlash between both of them. Mr. Killer, your thoughts about that?
Man, I'm excited for Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. Anytime they get in the ring together, it's usually fucking a classic. So, but I feel like the last few times they've been in the ring, it didn't live up to its expectations. But I think this is going to be one of the best matches on the card. I really do.
All right, Mr. Hero, what are your thoughts about this feud now going for the IC belt?
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this one. I do feel that the circumstances are not for this to necessarily turn into a feud. I think it's going to be a one-off, and then they're going to each go their separate ways and their separate feuds. But if I had to pick, I would go with Daniel Bryan with winning the IC belt. I think that AJ has a bigger role on SmackDown coming up, which is why he was brought over from Raw. So, we'll see who wins, but my pick is Daniel Bryan.
All right. I mean, my pick was going to be AJ. AJ right here. My retro AJ. There you
AJ
go.
too.
AJ. But regardless, I mean, I'll pick AJ. But, I mean, both of you guys are right. But,
do it, AJ. Damn it.
There you go.
Because he's never held the Intercontinental title, has he?
No, he has not.
That's why I'm picking AJ. I want him to win.
I want AJ because he'll be now crowned. Well, actually, not yet because he hasn't won a tag team championship belt yet.
Yeah, he needs to do that too.
Has he?
Yeah. No, not at all. No, he has not. So that's what I wouldn't mind seeing AJ winning the Intercontinental belt. I think he'll put prestige to that belt. So will Daniel Bryan. I think he'll do the same thing. I think both of them. So whoever wins, I mean, kudos to both of them. But obviously, if you want to pick one, I'll pick AJ. I'll take AJ because I love AJ.
And why not put the workhorse title on one of the greatest horses in the industry?
Yes.
The history of the industry. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Please do it. Please do it, WWE. Please do it.
I agree with that. So let's go ahead and move on with that. Obviously, we saw Gulak in there too as well that we mentioned, last week. Great to see him back. I'm hoping they push him and use him. And then obviously we will also
sign on the dotted line.
That's right, he resigned. And also that we mentioned last week as well, the rumors about Matt Riddle going to the SmackDown brand, and it actually came true to fruition. As your hero, Mr. Mike, Kurt Angle announced his debut for SmackDown, coming to the SmackDown roster. What do you guys pick? Who do you guys think should be the first one to feud with Matt Riddle? And if you look at the SmackDown brand, the roster, who should be the first guy to feud with Matt Riddle? Thoughts, Mr. Hero?
The first name that popped into my head was Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't
Swear
think
to
he has
God, swear to God, I was thinking the same thing.
I don't think that he has anything going on. Yeah, or Cesaro. So, I mean, let's do it. Shinsuke versus Matt Riddle. Make it happen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even with Cesaro, too. I mean, killer. I mean, you obviously thought the same thing, right?
Yep. At the same time, we was that great minds think alike.
That's right. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's go ahead and move forward now. Now we're going to go ahead and move to Raw. Obviously, Raw wasn't as great, unfortunately. But there was two highlights that intrigued me. One, obviously, was the Nia Jax and Kairi Sane botch. As you saw how WWE edited that. They announced, because they already pre-taped that before. And there was a botch during the match. They stopped the match when Kairi Sane had a busted right in the forehead. And they stopped the match and continued it because they had to clean up the blood and everything else. And so right now, there are a lot of people on Twitter and especially social media are bashing her. The fact that she's not a safe worker. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, Nia Jax she has great charisma. Her in-ring skills is got a lot to work with. I think if she no disrespect to Nia Jax in regards to her weight, but just a little bit toned up, and a little bit more of agile, more agility, I think she's able to control more of the matches, in my opinion. But I want to hear you guys thought about that. I mean, Mr. Hero, what are your thoughts about that? And do you feel that she should be bashed for this? I don't. She should be. One guy even said she should be fired on that. That's kind of messed up for saying that. But I mean, your thoughts about it, Mr. Hero?
Fired, maybe not, but I guess sent back to developmental, because these are people's careers, lives at stake. Because if you throw yourself and you expect to be caught, then you should feel safe enough to do it. For me, Nia Jax, she has a lot of work to do in ring. She has the heel persona down. She has the look. Sure, she could tone up and this and that, but she has the height. She has the power. I do believe that they kept the botch in on Raw, if I'm not mistaken. She did hit the steps, but I guess they cut out any injury sort of stuff or blood on her face.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what was cut out. But yeah, when that happened, I replayed it like 4 or 5 times because it looked pretty bad, and yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, and a lot of people are bashing her. I'm not the biggest Nia Jax fan because you got to be careful out there, and yeah, so I don't know. For me, it lets her know, get your stuff together, be safe out there.
Yeah. Mr. Killer, your thoughts?
Man, I just don't understand how you can get worse over time. How can somebody get worse over time, man? How long has she been on the main roster now? It's like, what, 4 or 5 years?
About so, yeah.
And it's ridiculous, man. It's like she gets worse. When she takes time off, she gets worse for some reason. Every time she comes back from an injury, she don't come back better. She comes back worse, like she forgot what she's doing or something. Her timing on stuff is off a lot. I hate the way she does promos. I hate the way she talks. I hate her voice. I can't stand the way she wrestles.
She does have an annoying voice.
Yeah. It's too much. She got too much sass of an attitude, a sassy attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. Don't like it. If it was me, I don't want to see her get fired or nothing, but maybe she does need to get sent back to developmental. But is she going to learn anything? I mean, really? She's going to learn anything else?
That's the big. I mean, that's something is up to her that she should have learned already. And I know she does, but the thing is that I feel that she doesn't train with these competitors before the show even starts. Like Corey, like pretty much, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it. I mean, that's the way how I see it. It doesn't seem that way, and sometimes I think her aggressiveness gets the best of her, and then she forgets you're on TV. You're forgetting you're hurting another human being that his career's on the line. And this is the first time that she's done it to Kyrie. It's happened before. So that's why they banned the Turbo Power Bomb because of that. But they don't blame her, and I don't blame, Seth Rollins either. Rollins as well had that issue. But obviously, like excuse me, for example, Bully Ray mentioned it on Busted Open Radio. The reason why they banned it because obviously to protect their talent, and I agree with that. Because you don't know where you're gonna throw them. You have them right here, and then how to a turnbuckle, you don't even know where you're gonna do it at. So
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the move to end his Sting.
Yeah, that's what ended Sting's career, and obviously we don't want nobody's career to be ended in the short. Not at all. I mean, obviously we love everything of pro wrestling for a reason, but not to end nobody's career short. No, hell. That's something that we don't wish upon for nobody. But,
Right.
But moving on with that, I want to go ahead and move on another one for like that caught my attention as well in the during Raw, the highlights. Dominic, when Rey Mysterio was announcing he was going to retire, but he said no, he's going to pay, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, Dominic, eye for an eye. And, Rollins kind of teasing, a new disciple. Is it going to be Dominic? I mean, what are you guys' thoughts? Do you like that if it does happen? So, Mr. Kidd, I'll go with you. What do you think about that? You think Dominic will be the new disciple for, Rollins' Messiah regime?
I wish they would do that. I really do. But I don't see them doing it. But I wish they would have Dominic just turn on his father and beat the shit out of him. And, come up with some reason why that you're mad at him. Maybe I don't know, maybe just come up with some reason why he's mad at him. Maybe he could trace it all the way back to the storyline with Eddie, and Ray.
Yeah.
And putting him and having him in that position to start with as a child, and be like, I never forgave you for putting me in that position as a child.
Right.
And then just beat the hell out of his daddy. And then maybe it leads to Dominic versus Ray one day when Ray does get ready to hang it up, and maybe the mask gets passed on if Dominic takes it.
Wow, imagine that. Mr. Hero, what are your thoughts about that?
I'd like to see that segment for sure. But there has to be so much to lead up to it if it were to happen. Man, to the name of Rey Mysterio, whether junior or senior, it is known worldwide. Yeah, for someone like Dominic to be the son, it's going to cast a huge shadow on him. So naturally, I feel the best thing he could do is break away from that. He's always wearing Rey Mysterio shirts when you see him on TV, and I think going to the Rollins camp would do well for him or in the long run. And and then to see something down the line of, hey, I'm going to redeem myself, and let's team up again, and here's the mask, you get to wear it now. We'll finally see, even though we saw it in WCW, but in WWE, Ray taking the mask off, giving it to Dominic, and such a cool moment that would be. But Dominic has to make it on his own. I feel like he does have to work on his promos a little bit, but he's starting out. But to put him in that in that storyline with Seth Rollins and putting him in that group would definitely do a lot for his career. And one more thing, I think that by aligning himself, because when you get with family, when you're working with family, sometimes you don't get to some things are, it's different from that to working with other people that are not related to you. So maybe working with Rollins will give him a different perspective that he's not getting, with working with Ray. So I'm definitely interested in something like that.
I absolutely agree with both of you guys' comments. I have no rebuttal to it. I mean, it's perfectly well done statement from both of you guys. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And that's something that is something new for Dominic to actually learn from someone else's, from a third party, instead of being their own relative, of how to obviously knowing, the business. So I absolutely agree. And that would actually be a badass segment if that ever happens. I would love to see that. And in regards for Ray passing the torch to some by him wearing the mask, I see that in his retirement days. I don't think he's ready to retire. I don't think Rey Mysterio is ready to hang those boots yet. But I see him by like another 3 years, maybe tops. 3 years tops. And then he'll hand it to his son. But this is going to work out for Dominic, and especially if he's going to come in and if he signs in the developmental and if he starts from NXT, I'm looking forward to see his, seeing his in-ring skills that he learned and learning from other people as well.
We did see him do the 619, remember?
Yeah.
He might know how to do more than we think. We don't know how much he's been training, man. He has been training with Lance Storm, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yep. He has trained with Lance Storm too, besides his dad. I don't know. I forgot. I don't remember who else he's training with, but he's training with a lot of people right now, and they're teaching him, the in and out of the business. His father could do so much, but Ray. I'm hoping Ray has the mentality. I'd rather have his son learning from someone else instead of from him. I hope so. But we'll see in the future what comes for him. Wish him the best. Now let's go ahead and move forward with that. Now there's a lot of pro wrestling news worldwide that is going on at this moment. So I want to go ahead and jump in with this one. Still stick with WWE. Now there's rumoring in windows now. A lot of call-up talents are coming up now from the NXT brand, going either to Raw and SmackDown. We already heard Matt Riddle's one of them. Now we have two other more, or actually even more than two. Rumoring windows going on right now. That is Dominic Dijakovic. It may be going to Raw. And also we have Chelsea Green with that segment when she fired Robert Stone. She's another one that might hit to Raw. Excuse me. And also coming up also as well, Io Shirai might go to Raw. Velvet Team might go to SmackDown. There's a lot of rumors about this coming up since Riddle been going since he moved to the brand. What are you guys' thoughts about these individuals already moving up to the main roster? So, Mr. Kaler, I'm gonna go back to you. What are your thoughts about Dijakovic going to Raw, Chelsea Green going to Raw, Io Shirai to Raw, Velveteen to SmackDown? What do you think about that?
I think it's time for Velveteen Dream, man. It's time. I think I wanted to see him win the NXT title at least one time, but whatever. It's a perfect fit for him. And how did they do that segment on NXT, by the way, with Prince? Like that was that really Prince?
Yeah.
No.
How did they do that? I mean, that was weird.
I like it though. I love that scene. I love it.
And then Io Shirai, where did you say she was going?
To Raw.
Oh, to Raw. Yeah, she's gonna be needed there. Maybe she could join up with Asuka and Carrie. And then you got Dominic Dijakovic.
Yep.
I don't really care for him, man. I really don't. I think he's gonna fail.
Ew.
I think he's gonna fail.
What about Chelsea Green going to
Chelsea Green? Oh man, I wish I could say something good about her, but I can't find anything. So.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Hero, your thoughts?
No, any time that NXT talent gets moved up to the main roster, I welcome it. WWE needs people right now. There's so many that were let go and might go somewhere else maybe. But yeah, I welcome it. Let's see how it goes. Especially for the women's division. I definitely if you have one person going in all three brands, then you need more people, and getting them up there and then having them feud, fresh matches, fresh stuff going on. It's only a good thing for me. So thumbs up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think that like I agree. I feel like with all of them coming up, I love it. Velveteen, I agree with you. It's a killer that he should have just. I'm hoping he wins this Sunday, and then at least drop it the week after. But you never know. But if he doesn't, he goes to SmackDown. Good for him. I would love to see. He's gonna have a good future feuds with a lot of people in the brand roster. I would love to see him and Nakamura, because you got the Japanese strong style, and you have him and Velveteen. The American strong style. Old school fashion. That I would like to see. Dijakovic, I see him. He has a lot of potential. I think he needs a manager, though. I think he will fit well with a manager or with Vega. I wouldn't mind seeing him with Vega in the faction because he's really very talented. I wouldn't mind. I wish he could have been in SmackDown because I wouldn't mind seeing him and Daniel Bryan. That would be a good match, too, to see. Chelsea Green, too soon. I think she needs to build up more of that NXT women's roster. More. She should stay put. That's just my opinion. Io Shirai, it's about time. But it is unfortunate she never won the women's championship. She should have won it a long time ago. She should have won that a long time ago. But the one thing, if she goes up to Raw, I would love to see her and Asuka. That's the dream match that I want to see. Her and Asuka will steal the fucking show. Put a Mania for me. Give it to me, Minivac. Put Io Shirai versus Asuka at WrestleMania coming up. And we'll be here in California, and we'll be going if you put it.
Maybe they bring the Sky Pirates back. Maybe Io and Carrie get the team back up. I'd like to see all three of them, Asuka, Carrie, and Io. Put them all in a faction for a little while. And then have the Io and Carrie turn on Asuka, man.
That's not a bad faction, to be honest. That'll be a badass faction, having three women like that and dominate.
I think they should powerbomb Nia Jax Shield style.
What? Yeah, they on their ass through the announce table, man.
Right? They barely made it. You saw how they were struggling last time.
Yeah, I thought they was going to drop her. Man.
That's what I thought, too. I'm like, wow. But I give credit to Natty and Charlotte to have the strength to pull that off. But you know what? It's good. Moving forward with that, also another wrestling news that came up actually recently. Adam Cole's contract is up in August. What? Has not signed yet. Now, there's a lot of rumor windows going on that he might jump to AEW, but I don't see it happening. This topic, I want to go ahead and just drop it quick, but I'll say he's going to stay. They're going to give him more money, and he'll be going to the main roster, by the end of the year with, the rest of the Undisputed Era. I don't see Adam Cole going to AEW. I think he just wants more money. I mean, do you guys see him going anywhere or stay put? Mr. Hero, where do you see Adam Cole? Staying or leaving?
He's not going anywhere. He's staying right there. He's the longest reigning NXT champion. He's got his stable that he's the leader of right there. He's doing just fine, and he's going to do even better in the main roster, so he's not going anywhere.
Mr. Killer, you staying or leaving?
I hadn't even heard about his contract coming up, but, yeah, he's definitely staying, man. Look at all that he's got to do in WWE. Longest reigning NXT champion, tag champion, North American champion, leader of his own faction. When they call him up, they have to put the rest of them with him. Don't do the shit like they done with Sanity to Undisputed Era, man. Don't fucking do that.
I hope not. I agree with you. They better not do that because they fucked up Sanity. Sanity was a great, actually, faction. And by them splitting them up, actually, as a matter of fact, when they called them main roster, they didn't use them.
They didn't use them, no.
No.
And then they didn't call up Nikki. They didn't call up Nikki with them when they did call them up. And then they buried them.
Yep. Buried all of them. Speaking of that, Now, I want to go ahead and jump on into Impact's vignette that they just took out recently, a couple of days ago. Obviously, a guy pouring his, glass, some whiskey or bourbon, whatever it was, sitting down on the couch, turning on television. Obviously, reporter down saying, "Oh yeah, 20 people got fired," and best future endeavors. That's quite a vignette right there from Impact. I mean, you saw obviously Michael Bennett, you saw Eric Young, EC3, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Drake Maverick. You saw him, but he ain't going anywhere now. That's confirmed. We'll talk about that later coming up. But Impact, they're going to have their upcoming Slammiversary. That's their WrestleMania for Impact. So, Mr. Hero, I'm not sure if you saw the vignette, but what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to go to Impact out of those people that I just mentioned? Who do you think will be the top guys, the top release superstars that was just released from WWE that's going to go to Impact? Who do you think is going to be at Slammiversary?
It's interesting because these people came out in the ad for as short as it was. Like, for example, Drake Maverick. We now know that he's staying in NXT. But how much of this, in legal terms, would be false advertising? Drake Maverick is not going to be there, despite him appearing in that little snippet, a millisecond long. Would it be a disappointment if only one or two of those people show up? I would be interested to see Rusev there. I think he's probably the biggest name that they could get, in my opinion. I think I will be tuning in for Slammiversary and seeing, what happens. So I'm interested in that. Yeah.
Definitely. Mr. Keller, who do you think is going to be coming back to Impact?
Probably Mike Bennett. And Eric Young. I definitely believe them two's coming back. Oh man, did we see EC3 coming back? I think he maybe would come back too. He seems like those videos that he's been posting on Twitter is like he's maybe going to be the leader of something, like where they're shaving off their heads and their hair and they're having a new start or something. And he says, like, you have been warned. So maybe EC3 is the leader of this new faction that could be coming in. Ex-WWE guys. Also, maybe Eric Rowan comes in. Eric Redbeard, now is his name. Maybe him too. Maybe they bring in like 4 or 5 of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could see that happening. But I see more. I see Bennett. I see Eric Young and EC3. I don't know about Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. I don't see them going yet. But if they go for a one night, and that's it. Like
have they ever? Carl Anderson, he's never been in Impact, has he?
No, he has not. No, Carl Anderson, no. Only Luke Gallows, obviously. Remember Luke Gallows when he was part of the Aces and Eights?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the only time they brought him in. I believe when it was Aces and Eights. I don't remember. I don't recall anything else they brought him for.
I believe, man, maybe they'll go to Impact for a little while until New Japan gets back up and running real good.
Oh, yeah.
Or I mean, they could probably work for both, depending on how their contracts work out.
Well, speaking of New Japan, actually, with that, also in other news, New Japan already announced that they're going to go ahead and move forward of now starting with their live events with no crowd, obviously. They're going to now start testing now their employees. I want to give credit to New Japan, first of all, because kudos to them that their top executives took a lot of pay cuts to keep their performers, not letting go anybody. Kudos to them. They took their own pay cuts for them, close to 25%, just to make sure that the talent, everybody else that is, employed with them, stay on, have a job, have income, because they haven't done anything since February. I believe it was February the 17th is when they stopped because of, the whole pandemic situation. So they were the first ones to stop doing any wrestling events. So kudos to, Bushiroad, which is the owners of New Japan. So I'm looking forward to see them back because I'm a big New Japan fan myself. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait with that. Ending the wrestling news, one more that I would like to go ahead and add on this. Back to WWE. Rumors another year window. Vinnie Mac is reaching out to the stars that have been released, like the ones we mentioned right now earlier? If so, bring back Luke. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. You got to bring them back. You have to bring them back. But other than that, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts about that, Mr. American Hero?
If I were Anderson and Gallows, I wouldn't go back. No, sir. Go somewhere else. I don't know. I would go back to New Japan, try out AEW or Impact. But no, I don't know. I feel that WWE has too much going on that they're not going to pay attention to them. I feel, but I don't know. If it were me, I would not go back.
Mr. Killer, your thoughts?
Well, every one of them that got let go, they really wasn't doing much with, was they? Except for Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I mean, they was in the main event of WrestleMania technically on, what was it, night 1 or night 2? I think it was night 1. Yeah, they was on the main event of that with AJ, and then the next thing you know, they're released. So, I don't know, man. I want to see them go to AEW. Let's get this fucking best tag team division in the world even more better.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think they're going to end up in Impact. I don't see anybody going back. Maybe, I don't know. I don't see anybody. I hope EC3 don't go back. I hope he doesn't learn his lesson. Stay the fuck away from there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's right about that. The second time they fired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, just – just go to AEW or go to Impact. I mean, go back. Don't go to the WWE. They didn't like your character. I don't know why. I enjoyed it. I loved it. He should have stayed at NXT. I don't know why they put him to the main roster. He should have stayed at NXT because he would have been a badass heel, especially in NXT, him being a champ. He would have pulled it off very great. And I like his work. His mic skills work is great. His vignettes are great. So EC3, don't go back.
What I'm saying though is you don't need WWE to become a legend, man. Look at Sting.
No.
Look at Sting.
Look at
It's
Sting.
Look at Liger. You know?
Ooh, you're right.
So come on, man. EC3, you can go make your legend somewhere else, man. You already tried like 2 times in WWE. They don't know what a diamond is when they got it.
I agree.
Fuck them.
Fuck them, EC3. Fuck them. Just go anywhere else. But you know what? All right. So we're actually go ahead and go take a quick break. We already got actually the captain. He's on location. I don't know where's he at. So Captain, where are you? We can't. I'm just hearing a static. I don't know what happened. Well, Captain, we'll let you take the floor as we're gonna take this quick break. We'll be right back.
Oh my God, the one boat is dead.
Captain, I survived.
What the fuck?
I'm alive.
What the fuck you doing to my boat?
I swear, it wasn't my fault. The Circle of Debate show was just really good this week.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you guys loved the message from the captain. He was on location. We don't know where is he, and I hope he's fine. And thank you, Captain, for the support and the love that you're giving us all the time, Captain. We appreciate you, Mr. Captain AM, PM, ladies and gentlemen. Now, moving forward we're going to go ahead and before we move forward with Dynamite, there's one topic that I would like to bring up about AEW. Obviously, you heard the Twitter going around, Hulk Hogan's ex-wife, Linda Hogan, basically used to comment, which I'm not going to use because that's something that never going to use out in my life. She made a comment in regards for obviously what's going on with this, nationwide situation, with the, Black Lives Matter situation. Tony Khan, right there, pretty much tell her, all right, you're going to join now. Your ex-husband, Hulk Hogan, you are banned from every AEW shows. You're not allowed. Don't even show up. I don't think she'll ever show up, first of all. So, I'm glad that Tony Khan did that. But I didn't know about Hogan. But you know what? And I forgot about Hogan. And this was, I think, a remark that he made obviously when he was recorded saying the N word, and obviously Booker T, Mark Henry, all they were not happy about it. So I think Tony Khan used that, towards banning Hogan from any AEW events or even try to bring him in. I mean, your thoughts about it, Mr. Killer? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, man. I don't think obviously Linda Hogan was going to be going to any AEW events anyway, so that's why I was laughing about that. But Hulk Hogan, man, it's like I'm saying, man, like with the Ultimate Warrior, man, he said a lot of stupid shit before he died, but he changed. People can change. They learn from their mistakes, man. And I feel like Hulk Hogan, he give the man a chance to change. Some people already going to keep throwing him up under the bus because once you say something, you ain't allowed to come back from it. You're condemned for the rest of your life. You can never be forgiven. That's the mentality a lot of these people got. And I'm not like that, man. I know people can change. People change all the time. And Hulk Hogan being banned, I mean, like, I don't think Hulk Hogan was going to plan on coming to AEW either. I think he was going to stick with WWE until the end of his career anyway. And then he's like, he tweets, he says, okay. He tweeted, okay. I don't know if that was towards Tony Khan or whatever. But I also saw the podcast that Hulk did with Booker T. And Booker T was talking about people should have a chance to change and everything. And he was cool with Hulk Hogan. He was cool with him on there.
I'm glad he buried a hatchet with him. Mr. Hero.
Yeah, no, the good news for Linda is that she could always go to New Japan or Impact. So, no, I think that AEW doesn't need a lot of old school wrestlers. They don't necessarily need Hulk Hogan to pop up and put a belt around. They were able to get Mike Tyson. I feel like AEW is looking towards the future and building up their future stars, and that's great. So, that's on that part. I don't think it's too harsh. I think that, like any business, they choose to do business with whoever they want. Yeah, and I'm sure Hogan is fine just with his Legends role in WWE. It's a good fit for him. He's fine there, and that's it. It's not like he's gonna return to the ring.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's not. He wants to. He wants to retire, have one more match. But who? I mean, I would say John Cena, and end it there. The hell with it. Let him have a match with John Cena. That would be not a bad match for me to see because that's pretty much passing the torch. In reality,
a cinematic match.
Oh yeah, I agree. A cinematic match.
If anything,
it's got to be a cinematic match because I don't think Hogan can go as much. Didn't he last match at Bound for Glory, wasn't it, with Sting? And they didn't even make it an official match.
No,
because they knew he couldn't do the whole fucking match, man. It's over with. It's over with. Hope some people can end their careers the right way and have a happy ending, and some people just don't.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So go ahead and move forward with that. Now let's go ahead and move with Dynamite. Obviously, we already saw that they announced they're going to have Fighter Fest. They're going to have that 2 weeks. 2 days, which is pretty much obviously July 1st and July 8th, which I'm looking forward to. This is going to be on TNT. Last year, Fighter Fest was great. I'm looking forward for this one. The card is looking good so far, as we've seen. But the highlight that caught me with AEW's Dynamite, obviously, was a tag team match. I'm glad to see Adam Page back, with Kenny Omega, go ahead and fighting with Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. That was a good match. Good opening match. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to see, them fighting best friends at Fighter Fest. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts about, this opening match for Dynamite? Mr. Hero, what are your thoughts about it?
Awesome. Cool match. To me, it's gotten to the point where if it's a tag team match, I know it's going to be something good in AEW. They have some of the, or if not the best tag teams in professional wrestling right now. They're delivering some top matches. For me, it's definitely for me. I as a WWE guy for 20 years, to see something different here in AEW is awesome. I look forward to seeing what happens at Fyter Fest, which I didn't know it was a 2-night event, right? 2 nights.
Yeah, 2 nights. Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay, and I like that it's not back to back like WrestleMania. I like that it's week 1 and week 2. So look forward to seeing that. Thumbs up.
All right, Mr. Killer, what are your thoughts about that? The opening match.
Oh man, I believe that all of us knew that Omega and Page wasn't losing the tag team titles to Havoc and Sabian, but I mean, yeah, it was a good match. I loved the match. FTR, of course, looking on from the crowd during the match, scouting the champions. I like that. Putting the champions on notice. Like, we're gonna be holding these titles pretty soon, motherfuckers. And when we do, it's going to be the longest fucking reign. I hope it is. I hope they go on like a 400-something day title reign, man. They just beat everybody.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to see FTR. Speaking of FTR, during that segment that happened, obviously they were talking to Tony Schiavone. You know how they were mentioning Tony Schiavone about, oh, wait, I'm sick and tired. Like, comparing, everybody else has the Midnight Express. We're the Midnight Express. We're the Rock and Roll Express of tag team. And then we saw Butcher and Blade coming down. So now we're going to see their debut coming up next Wednesday on Dynamite when they go on face Butcher and Blade. I'm looking forward to see FTR, and I'm glad that they signed with AEW, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to bring to that tag team division. They're going to build it up more, and a lot of great feuds how we were trying to, discussing last week about. And I'm looking forward to FTR. And I like that. They didn't mention the Young Bucks in their segment. And I'm glad they're saving that, which they should. That makes sense. If you recall how we were discussing, Mr. Hero, about the rankings, about, okay, that shouldn't be like a feud right away. And this is a great way to start a storyline with the Young Bucks. Yeah, have them face every other tag team until the right time comes. When the worlds collide, beautiful. But I will give the Young Bucks the belt, though, and have them be the champs to fight FTR for the belts, and FTR takes it. Your thoughts about that, Mr. Hero?
Man, I wish they had this kind of booking for the world title. A long, something to build up to. I want to see that match, FTR versus the Young Bucks. I've been looking forward to it ever since seeing that truck pull up to Daly's place. You can expect nothing but good stuff here, and I look forward to their debut. I'm glad that they're not making us wait for the debut so much. Let's get the story going. Let's hit the pedal to the metal, because the end, I already see that it's going to be a great match between the Bucks and them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mr. Killer, what are your thoughts?
Man, I just want to say, like, best friends, man. Best friends. We know they ain't winning the tag team titles. Let's just hope to God they ain't. And what are they doing, man? Are they putting off the feud? They stopped kind of teasing Hangman and Adam Page. Hangman, Adam Page, and Omega. They stopped kind of teasing them splitting up. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But as FTR, man, yeah, I think that the Young Bucks need to hold the tag titles first, too. I think that FTR needs to be the one that beat the Young Bucks for the titles, not Omega and not Hangman. They need to beat the Young Bucks, because the Young Bucks have been going around, running their mouth for years now, saying, fuck the revival. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's time, man. Yeah. Show them who the best tag team is. I don't know. Hell, maybe we could have a fucking 60-minute tag team Iron Man matchup if this is to end the blood feud, to end it.
That would be awesome to have a first-time 60-minute Iron Man tag team match. That's not a bad idea. That's a good sell. Because I think these guys will – and you will hear the crowd. You can just imagine hearing the crowd say, fight forever. Oh, man, that would be awesome if that happens, man. I hope they – if you guys watch this, hey, you better give us a cut. It's our ideas. Our ideas.
We need to be on creative.
Exactly. We got to be uncreative. We can help you. Let us help you to make you better.
Exactly.
Exactly. There you go. And moving on with that, I want to go ahead and move on also with the Jericho, obviously, segment. Obviously, he fought Colt Cabana, which was not a solid match. Love Colt Cabana, by the way. Excuse me. It's good. He still got it. He still got it for his age, Colt Cabana. Jericho, too. I like how Jericho called out Tyson. Oh, yeah. You want to fight me? You want to fight one-on-one? You piece of shit. But I love it. I can't wait. And I think it's going to happen. It's already coming to the conclusion that it might be Jericho Tyson fighter first. So, but the biggest question is going to be, how we were discussing last week. If you recall that, are we going to see those UFC legends back again versus with the inner circle round? Could we see a lumberjack around that? Maybe we never know. Mr. Killer, what are your thoughts? What do you think? You think this might be a lumberjack, or how do you see this match going on between them two?
I have no clue, man. I'm just hoping if they do have a wrestling match between Jericho and Tyson, I'm hoping Tyson's able to do it and do a good job. Maybe they'll get more out of him than WWE ever did. Maybe he can do it. I don't know. We haven't seen him wrestle a match, have we?
No.
He's not wrestled a wrestling match, so
never.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're going to go with it and make it a tag team match somehow, or maybe it will be a one-on-one match. But either way, it probably needs to be kept short since Tyson's not, been wrestling. This is going to be his first match. I mean, hopefully they can put on entertainment. I think that's what this is. At the end of the day, I think Tyson Jericho, it's just going to be like a quick little match, and then it's going to be over with. Hopefully Tyson, he's probably just going to knock him out, in my opinion. It's going to happen real fast, and it's going to be over with. Jericho might be the next Mark Gunn in this situation.
Right? Jesus.
Oh, shit. Shit. Mr. Hero, your thoughts about this?
I pay to see that. I'm loving the storyline. You know me. I'm all about the MMA and combat sports sort of thing. I heard that, I think from Mike Tyson himself, he was doing an interview that he was talking about how he started getting stem cell treatment and how that's helping out his health and getting to be able to train more. And he put out some videos of him training, and he was doing very well for a guy of his age. So this is a rejuvenated Mike Tyson. He has found his new motivation, I feel. So and if this match happens, let's go ahead and say it's a one-on-one. If I was having my very first match, I would definitely want to be in there with Chris Jericho, a veteran who knows what he's doing. He knows how to make people look, good, definitely. But I do think it's going to be like a tag team match, Inner Circle versus the UFC veterans, something like that. I'm all for it. Sign me up. I already bought that pay-per-view, so I'm just waiting for it.
There you go.
Also, Orange Cassidy, maybe he's going to distract Jericho some way. I don't know what they're doing. I guess Jericho's going to be feuding with Orange Cassidy too. So
I see that happening in maybe like next week or the following week, but I think it was a short little storyline. Maybe later on. Maybe you're right. We'll see. But you know what? I agree with you, Mr. Hero. I feel that Mike Tyson found his passion back. I feel like he found that finally back, and the love for the sport, especially combat sport, and in pro wrestling, mixing both worlds together. I'm glad that he's back a part of that. And what I'm actually also glad is he's loosened up. He's all stiff, now he's able to loose up and. How the stem cell treatments. I'm glad. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what they're gonna do with that storyline with Chris Jericho. We'll see how that goes. I'm hoping it goes great and both we'll find out in the next couple of weeks before it happens. But let's go ahead and move forward now. The other match of the night from the Dynamite, AEW Dynamite, is obviously Cody Rhodes versus Jungle Boy. Great main event. Love it. It was a hell of a classic match. I like the fact that Cody is taking these individuals, how we were discussing weeks prior before, him taking his talent and actually helping them produce their in-ring skills and exposing them more, national television wise. And I'm loving that Cody's doing that. He's doing a John Cena type of thing. I mean, you got to be realistic about it. No, not offending Cody, but I'm just saying you're pretty much busting a John Cena. He's the one who kind of was the first one to implement that, defending the title every week, what he did with the U.S. belt. Now he's doing that with the TNT Championship. So, I mean, I love Cody that he's doing it with Jungle Boy. We already announced he's going to face one of the private party next week in Dynamite. So I'm looking forward. I mean, what do you guys thought about this match? Do you think this match elevate Jungle Boy's, level of, his in-ring skills and overall? I mean, Mr. Hero, what are your thoughts about this match?
It's definitely if I was in my early 20s like Jungle Boy, I would definitely have gone to AEW instead of WWE. See, if having classic matches with the executive vice president on TV, man, I'm sure he's having the time of his life. And I don't know if you guys noticed after the match, Cody went to his ear or and said some stuff. I wonder what he told him there. I'm sure some like, hey, you got this kid. The sky's the limit sort of stuff. Because it is it made me see Jungle Boy in a new light. Actually, I know he's talented, and I've known that for a bit. But this really kind of showcased his talents, I feel, and his ability to hang in there with the top talent in AEW. So it was a great match. Definitely one of the highlights this week in wrestling. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what else is next for Cody and Jungle Boy, of course.
Mr. Killer, your thoughts about this?
Oh, man. Yeah, Cody, again, wanting to put over the younger talent, and that's great. We knew that Cody was walking out with that title still. We knew Jungle Boy wasn't winning it. But at the same time, he gets to look good in this match. And Cody with the blood coming down his face and everything again, he even went there. And I think after the match, what he told him was, man, you're going to be a star. You're going to be a star. Or a great job or some shit like that. But Jungle Boy reminds me of, like, not Chris Jericho on the mic, because I don't know how he's going to be on the mic yet, really, because they keep him quiet a lot. But, yeah, he reminds me of a young Jericho, like, in the ECW days, the Lionheart Jericho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he reminds me of him in the early days of WCW as well. So I hope that he wins the tag titles and everything with Jurassic Express, and then he can move on, have an amazing singles career. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. The sky's the limit for him, man. He does remind me of a young Lionheart Chris Jericho.
That's good. That's great. I was gonna say he reminds me of a young version of Daniel Bryan, back to like ROH days, to the Ring of Honor days, to when he first came up to the WWE. That's what he kind of reminds me of. And I think he's going to be a hell of a star in the future. I wouldn't mind seeing him and MJF main eventing, for the AEW Championship, because that's a hell of a storyline that they could put both of them. A great bad guy and a great good guy concept that I cannot wait to see what the future brings to Jungle Boy. And I, met him and obviously see them live at Bar Wrestling here, obviously in California. Joey Ryan, we love you, baby. Joey Ryan, love you. And, I love Jungle Boy. I like how his ring style's ability is very different and it's very unique. But he still can hang doing the classic traditional wrestling type like he did with Cody. I enjoyed it very much a lot. I have really enjoyed it. Well, let's go ahead and move forward with that. I want to go ahead and move forward now with NXT now that we having up. Only obviously the two highlights of the night. It's not much of a, unfortunately, it's not much of a big deal, but obviously we had Mia Yim, Candice. I wanted to see a good one-on-one legit match, but unfortunately you had Mr. Gargano coming and interfering, and then Keith Lee coming in. They made it a mixed tag match. Do I give it a yay or nay? I wasn't really happy about it. I mean, I'm glad one thing, though, that at least how we discussed about the upcoming card, which is, for NXT TakeOver, we did mention it might be a mixed tag match at TakeOver, but it looks like it's not. Now it's different. So, which we will actually go into that later on after this. So, what are you guys' thoughts about the opening for that? What do you guys think? Was it yay, man, or not much to talk about on that?
I can't stand when they fucking act like they're going to have a good match and then it turns out to be a fucking tag. They turn it into a tag team match, especially when it happens more times than one time in a week. Anyway, it happened multiple times this week, man. It's like, I didn't like it. And didn't they cheat to win by using the car keys to the eyes or something?
That was horrible.
That was terrible too. I didn't like it.
Mr. Hero.
No, I'm sorry. I'm on number 7 right now.
Hell yeah!
I'm on number 8 or 9, man.
I'm at number 6, so I'm like a couple behind you.
No, so probably this is going to make me say this, but the Garganos as heels is not working for me. I mean, they haven't won me over as heels yet.
I agree.
Let's see what happens In Your House and in going forward, but the vignettes, I don't know, it didn't land for me, and I guess the reason why is because I think his best work has been as a face. Keith Lee, I don't know if you guys noticed that at the end of the segment, Gargano, he hit the steps and he injured the hand. Yeah, I feel that's gonna kind of be used at In Your House to kind of even the odds there, because Lee is a humongous guy compared to Gargano. So maybe that'll be kind of evening the stuff for the heel there. But as far as the initial match that became a tag team match, yeah, I don't necessarily am a fan of that sort of thing either. In any sports, you're not going to change the matchup midway because some people decided to show up right there. That doesn't happen. So, it's like Ivan said,
These Garganos, man, it seems like they're trying too hard to be heels.
They're cheesy ass heels for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, they got to be more aggressive. Like, that's not aggressive enough. I think they should be more like they should take example of Joker, Harley Quinn style. Like, make that aggressive though. Psychotic, very fucking aggressive towards everybody. That would be phenomenal if they could push that level, which I hope they do later on. But because I want to see, like I said, when we said what I believe was when we had What a Mess and Decoy, what I do want to see them versus Cross and Scarlett Badu. I would like to see that later on in the future. But I hope they can push their characters more with that, and I believe they could. But it just right now it's too cheesy. Like those type of vignettes, oh my god, eating dinner, like, yeah, that's stupid. I don't like it. I don't like that vignette at all. But moving forward, the highlight of the night that all of us were discussing last week, obviously who was going to win between Drake Maverick and Hijo del Fantasma. Then we found out that Hijo del Fantasma won, which congratulations, by the way. Hijo del Fantasma, I'm a big fan of Your Fathers. I followed Your Father's work before, El Fantasma back in AAA and CMLL, Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre, en AAA. I'm glad he won. Drake Maverick, obviously we saw him saying goodbye. Bye. 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 And here you go. What's this? Oh, I'm excited. Now you really sold me now. You sold me with your fucking Twitter fucking video. You sold me saying that you're crying your ass off, that you were let go. This is all bullshit. You sold me, and you did a good job. I feel really, really sympathetic for you. But this shows that on air, what the fuck? Really? Like, I guarantee you he knew all along we were going to resign him back anyways. But that was a dramatic ending. Very expected. So I want to go with Mr. Killer on this one. What are your thoughts about that ending segment?
Oh, man. It's like, okay, so a lot of people on Twitter is divided on this and whether it was a work or not. And it's like to me, okay, so Drake Maverick, he comes up the ramp and Triple H comes behind him and then he hands him the contract. And right there on the stage, Drake just signs the contract. He don't know what's in that contract. He ain't read the contract. He just signed the fucking thing. Who knows what it said? It could have been a 15-year deal for a little bit of money. Who knows? This guy, like, he had to know what was on that contract before he signed it. I mean, come on, people think. People think. You're not going to sign it. I don't know, man. I think it was a work. I think it was a work. I think they played us all. I didn't think it was legitimate. I thought it was. I knew it was a work. I knew it was a work. I had a feeling that it might not be, but at the same time, my feelings that it was stronger than the ones that wasn't. So I knew in the back of my mind that this was a fucking work. So what does that say about, oh, let's release him while we release all these other guys and girls, and then we just hire him back and use it as a storyline. I thought that was kind of disrespectful, kind of. If this truly was a work, and we are right about this, then yeah, that's shitty. That's shitty.
Shitty booking, Mr. Hero. What are your thoughts? I'm curious to hear yours.
It's still real to me, damn it. I believe that Drake Maverick was crying for his career, for his contract. My goodness. And if not, he is a tremendous actor. My goodness. When he was coming out of that to the ring for this match, I saw the emotion. And that right there made me think, well, holy crap, this is it, So I don't know. I don't know how far ahead this was planned or worked and whatnot and, all that stuff. Triple H came out, gave him the contract here, 15 years for 10 grand, all that stuff. We don't know. However, I will say that if they really wanted to do this sort of storyline, let's say they would have done this for the Intercontinental Championship instead, I would have wanted to see Rusev in that spot. I would have wanted it would have been more intriguing. The news would have been bigger on that. No offense to Drake Maverick, I've heard he's a great guy. No offense, but I think it would have been bigger for someone like Rusev to be in that spot. And to end up getting the contract over all along. All that whole storyline with Lana and Lashley, that would have made up for it, I think. But it is what it is, and best of luck to Mr. Maverick. Good luck with your new deal.
Yeah, what did they do with him now?
He doesn't have the title.
But you know what? But okay, but you saw what happened in that match. Obviously, those are two luchadors that came out. You know how we were discussing about how it could be either the Drake or you call it the Fantasma could be one of the leader of that faction, kidnapping all the luchadors. I mean, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Maybe that's going to be a storyline for a build-up. But which in a way is kind of like you're literally brushing off Kushida, you're brushing off Jake Atlas, you're brushing off everybody else off. So, but we'll see what happens on that. And we'll see what happens. So, I mean, NXT was okay. Obviously, it had great viewers. AEW obviously has been winning, obviously lately. But, you know, NXT's been there. They've been like at least 50,000 viewers away. So they're getting up there little by little. And that's why I praise NXT more than Raw. I prefer more SmackDown and NXT. And Raw is just like, it could be better. I mean, but, you know, that's more to come. We'll find out. And now moving on to the finals topic of the night. Is coming up this Sunday, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern, which is NXT TakeOver in your house. So we're going to go ahead and actually not discuss every match. We're going to go ahead and announce the match. And you guys let me know what match will steal the show. And honestly, by looking at the card, it doesn't really look much impressive. But it does give a lot of curiosity because I believe that this card may want to steal the show. And I hope one of these do steal the show. So I'm going to go ahead and mention it to you guys. And then I'm going to go with you, Mr. Hero. You let me know which one you think will be the steal, the night, the steal the night out of all the matches. So obviously we got Damian Priest, Finn Balor. We have Tommaso Ciampa, Killer, Karrion Kross. We have Mia Yim, Tegan Nox, and obviously Shotzi Blackheart versus, Dakota Kai, Raquel, Vasquez, and Candice LeRae. Then we have Keith Lee Gargano for the North American Championship. We do have Adam Cole and Double Team Dream for the NXT Championship. And we have, obviously, the triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship, which is Charlotte, Io Shirai, and Rhea Ripley. So out of all those matches, Mr. Hero, which one do you think will steal the show coming up this Sunday out of all?
I heard you say that, the card was not the best. And I mean, it's not WrestleMania, but you reading down those matches, man, I'm like, okay, I'm digging this. I see some potential for this to be a solid pay-per-view. Of course, the main event, Cole versus Dream, that's to me the show stealer. For obvious reasons, both guys are on the top of their game. Dream might be going to the main roster. A lot of those questions will be answered this Saturday. Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Okay, interesting.
Sunday.
So a lot of questions as far as those rumors will be answered, especially for both Dream and Io Shirai. So yeah, let's see what happens. But for me, show stealer, Cole versus Dream.
Mr. Killer, your thoughts? Which one will be the steal?
I want to agree with Mike again, but this time I have a feeling for some reason in the back of my mind that the ladies is going to steal it. I'm going to say Rhea, Charlotte, and Io, they steal the show. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that they're going to do it. And they can pull it off. They're damn sure capable of doing it.
Definitely.
Yep.
I can see that. For me, I think out of this card, I actually would like to see, for me, which will be the Keith Lee and Gargano. I want that type of PWG, style that they both came from. I want the independent scene style of theirs to be brought up towards national TV. I mean, they do it now, but I wanted to see these two colliding, regardless of the height and weight. That has nothing to do with it. I think they're gonna be the ones stealing the show, and they're gonna put a hell of a fucking match between these two. And I'm looking forward. Yeah, it doesn't sound too intriguing, the card, because obviously it's not a big match. But I mean, obviously people are looking forward Cross and Ciampa, they're going to see it as a squash match. I hope it's not. I'm hoping it's not. That's why I didn't choose that match either, because I'm skeptical about that one. But I really want to see Keith Lee and Gargano steal the show. And I hope they do. And I hope they do. And, I mean, hopefully we'll find out this Sunday. And then we'll discuss about that, next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to go ahead and appreciate you guys for tuning in for episode 5, número 5. So now we're going to go ahead and actually this Sunday, we're going to have our top 5. Don't forget, our top 5 is obviously we're choosing the best in your house pay-per-views, which is coming up this Sunday. So stay tuned this Sunday on our channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the side right at the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And also, just to give these two gentlemen a heads up, which they don't know because it's always a surprise. So next week, their next top 5 of next week will be the best tag team from the past and present. So we're going to choose which was our favorite tag team from the past to the present. Top 5. So be expecting that next week. And also, we're going to go ahead and discuss, obviously, what's going on in the pro wrestling world next week. So we say for you guys, thank you once again for joining in, for listening to Circle Debate Podcast 5. Once again, this is your host, I've received, my host, American Hero, Mike Lopez, the Reputation Killer, Josh Red Horton, saying, salud, and
Salud.
gracias to watch. Oh, he's done. he needs to re-up. He needs to re-up. But we'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned this Sunday for the top 5 a best in your house pay-per-view. And we'll see you next week for número 6. Have a good night, everybody.